Romans 12:1. I urge you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God, to present your bodies a living and holy sacrifice, acceptable to God, which is your spiritual service of worship. Thanks for joining me again today as we continue our series on God words, theological vocabulary that helps us understand the fellowship into which God has invited us. Our God word today is actually the word compassions in the translation that I read, which is the New American Standard Bible, and it looks like in almost all the translations, the word that is used here in Romans 12:1 is most often translated mercies. We've already done a conversation on the word mercy. This is a word that is similar to mercies, and I guess that translating it mercies is an acceptable translation. However, it is a different word than the one we considered when we looked at the word mercy itself. We saw the word mercy in Romans chapter 9 when Paul is quoting God's words to Moses that he would have mercy on whom he would have mercy and compassion on whom he would have compassion. And so in Romans chapter 9, the word mercy is paralleled to the word compassion and used in a parallel way to help us understand the word mercy. We talked about the word mercy maybe being better understood as pity. That God pities our sinful condition, and because of that, acts to forgive our sinful condition. So the word that we have today, I think would be better translated, and it is translated in Romans chapter 9 as compassion. It's actually a plural, so compassions, or as most translations say, mercies. And unlike the word pity, the word here really means deep feelings that come because of recognizing the suffering or the struggles and troubles that somebody has. So if we have deep gut feelings for someone's unhappiness, for someone's struggles, for the problems that somebody is suffering in their lives, when we empathize deeply with their condition, it could be said that we have compassion on them. And we find here that this is what God does for us. That God has compassion, that is, that God is very aware of how miserable our life is because sin is in our lives. God is very aware of the condition that our souls are in because of sin. And that the consequences of that sin is that we live separated from God. We live outside of God's will. We live outside of God's forgiveness. We live outside of the gifts that God gives to us now, but much more importantly, for all eternity. Now, we're probably very aware that people's lives can be good apart from God, and yet I would suggest that those who are living outside of fellowship with God lack a certain purpose in life, because life is only for now, and that what happens after this life is in question. And that what we really need to be concerned about, yes, we need to be concerned about life now. But on the grand scheme of things, on the grand scale, on the great line of eternity, our life now is but one single point. And there is an eternity that will happen to us, a life after this life. And God is very aware that because of our sin, we are destined to spend that eternity separated from Him. We are destined to spend that eternity in eternal sorrow and eternal suffering. And that God doesn't want that. And so, because He feels deeply for us, because He has compassion on us, He has come to us. He has provided the solution necessary so that we don't have to spend eternity separated from Him. We review, in a sense, a number of our words. That all have sinned, that we rebel, and that the consequences of our sin is death, eternal separation from God. That we fall short of God's glory. That because of our sin, we are not worthy to be in the presence of a holy God. But that because of God's mercy and because of God's compassion, God is gracious to us. And God extends to us, because He loves us, His forgiveness, won for us by Jesus through His death and proven for us by Jesus through His resurrection. He extends that to us freely. He gives it to everyone, and it becomes personal for those who receive it by faith. All these words that we've looked at already in our series. Here in Romans chapter 12, then, as we look at this word, we're finding that it is the foundation for the continuing of our life. That we are urged, encouraged, that we are, in a sense, maybe even commanded, because God is merciful, because God is compassionate, because God has taken pity on us. But here, the word pity and mercy is not there. It's really because God feels so deeply about our condition, and then by extension has provided the solution to this problem. We are called to a particular action, to offer our bodies as living sacrifices, which is our spiritual form of worship. Thank God for His compassion. And may we, because He's been compassionate on us, because He has put to death our old nature and raised to life a new one, live for Him in the fellowship that He has invited us to live. Thank you for being a part of the conversation. God bless you.